there, welcome back to Settled Carlisle 68. I'm Gary and this is my N-gauge layout Westmorland, and just like to start by thanking everyone who left comments on the last video whereby I outlined the new track plan for Westmorland, which was based around the Hellifield station. Yeah, in this video, as I said in the intro, we're mainly looking at covering the track laying and reviewing the track plan in the first instance. I'd just like to apologise that in this video I've not been able to include part 2 of the static grass demo. Just not had time to get that filmed, and as I'm going on holiday in a few days time, it was all going to be a bit of a rush, so I'd rather do it properly and get it out in the October update. So without further ado, let's get on with the video and let's see what changes I actually made to the track plan that I put up in the last video.
Okay, so here's the latest revision of the track plan. So basically carried out 3 areas. First one is the goods yard. Previously it was connected to this line, and this was the head shunt. So this has been moved to the goods loop, and that's much better now for access from the main line, so that's much improved. Secondly, these points have changed, whereby this crossover point was previously here, sort of ahead or behind, whichever way you want to look at it, of the goods loops. So this has now been moved behind, so it's far better access into the goods sidings from both sides when you are exchanging from one line to the next. The final change is in relation to these sidings here, and previously the point was here, and it basically tied up the loco when it came in this direction. The loco would be stuck in the siding with the train behind it. As it stands now, you would be coming in this direction and then reverse into the siding, and then that frees up the loco to then pull out and leave the wagons in the siding itself. So that's the plan that we've pressed forward with for the layout, and you can see that now as it's been put into action.
So this is the part of the video where I'm updating you on where I'm at with the track laying, and as you can see, I'm pretty well on with it all. Certainly in the station area and at the front of the layout. And if you recall from the last video, the baseboard was in quite a state. There was big areas with no cork fitted, areas that were a bit of a mess where I'd ripped scenery out and so on. So the first part of the process was to relay cork in the areas that didn't have it, and I've used the same cork as I've used throughout the layouts. This comes in rolls, and it's the Javis cork sheets, and the 1.5mm thickness. So I was cutting that to size and then gluing it in position accordingly, and then I filled it all in with household sort of fine filler, You can just see some of the areas that aren't quite as good, but these will all get covered up in time. And then I went over with just grey matchpot paint, and yeah, I think it's turned out pretty good. Okay, so what we're going to use for the, or what have we used for the track laying, and it really only consists of 3 parts, really 3 component parts, and that's these set track turnouts or points. So I've used the ST5 and the ST6 right and left hand points. So I've had to buy a few more of these because I'm a little bit short of what was required with the new track plan. And then I'm just continuing what I've used previously, and that's the SL300 Code 80 wooden sleeper track. So that matches what I've already got or had down on the layout, because I'm literally replacing all of the track, as you'll see. And the reason for that is basically to take out all of the set track, which you'll see. This is the pile that I've ripped out so far, which is quite extensive. There's quite a number of curves that were hidden within the tunnel, so they weren't really an issue in terms of being seen, but there was quite a lot of set track also outside of the tunnels in areas that you could see, particularly at the back of the layout. And this is the reason why I wanted to change it, was aesthetics really, was to get rid of the track with these sort of flanged ends. So hence why all of that's been sort of removed. And also, as you can see with the pile of track there, each one of those pieces has a connection point, and it adds in a weak spot in the layout with the connections, because it can sometimes take, or does take, 4 of these curved pieces to go around the whole sort of tunnel section, where as it stands now I can probably do that, or have done it, with just a couple of pieces. And I've got some droppers now fitted underneath the tunnel where they connect. So coming on to the front end of the layout, where the station is and the loco shed area, it really started off at this point. So what I wanted to do was obviously have these lines and the goods loop as long as possible. So that really meant that I had to get these points as far this way as absolutely possible. So I've put this point really as close to the viaduct as I could, practically, and then worked out from there by fitting each point and so on. And then that meant that the track sort of started here, and then I could set the curves around the platform, and I think they've turned out really well. Nice sweeping curves, should be good to view the trains. And then that leads on to this section of the layout. So again, these were the datum points at this end that set the lengths for the track going back the way, and so they were fixed in. And then I added the curves, which were a little bit tricky to get with the flexi track, just to get the right curve size. So this is just over second radius, and this is just over third radius, so they shouldn't look too bad. I've run rolling stock manually over them, and they don't look bad at all. So pleased at how those turned out, considering it's quite a tight space to get them in. Managed to maintain the road bridge. I had to shunt that back to accommodate the two lines, you know, the thickness or the distance between the two lines, and then the tunnel really remains the same. This third siding, or this siding, is a little bit tight onto the edge of the baseboard, as you'll see, to the point where I think the baseboard, it actually overlapped where the existing baseboard was. The track came over the baseboard, so I've had to add this piece of wood in, and then I've got to work out what I'm going to do on the ends with the capping wood, the fascia, you know, how high to make that above the track. I don't really want to go too high because it will then obstruct. If you come down to that level, it'll then obstruct my viewing and the camera shots that I could do on the layout. So it might just be 5mm or 10mm, whatever. Don't know whether you guys have got any thoughts on that. When I leave this, when I finish running terrains, I'm probably going to move whatever's on this edge away anyway, because I don't think it's worth risking it being, you know, rolling stock being knocked and dropping on the floor. So moving down to this far end, I'm just coming to the goods shed area. So the goods shed will be here, and then we've got these 2 points for storing sidings for storing other rolling stock. And as you can see, I've got the same problem here. Once I've laid this track, it's far too close to the edge of the board, but I've got more license here to put a piece of wood across here, probably curve it round and probably extend this out a little bit to give a bit more baseboard space. And then the final part is the loco shed area, or loco yard. As you can see, just terminated at these points for the moment, and the reason for that is I've just got to wait for the next datum point, which will be the turntable, which will go in here, and I've got to position that between the 2 cross members that run underneath the baseboard, and then run the track to that with the ash pit in. So it's quite a critical part, that, and then that'll set out the rest of the planning for this area of the layout with the engine shed and so on, which you'll see in the later part of the video. I've actually mocked this up to see what it looks like, make sure it didn't look too overpowering with the engine shed and so on. I'm happy with how that sort of turned out. The only piece of track they have fitted was this one. It's not fastened down yet, just to make sure I can get the track right up to where the coal loading stage will be, which will be here. And yeah, as you can see, I've had to cut all that out to accommodate that. And then there'll be a line from here going up an incline to the coaling stage, which you'll see in the mock-up later on. So I don't think I've missed anything. That's about it where I'm up to. Obviously everything's got droppers fitted now extensively. Still got to wire them up underneath, but that's a job for another day. Hopefully you like what I've done. It's basically turned out to plan, and yeah, looking forward to the next stage of getting this finished and the platform in after we've done all of the testing. Okay, so on to the next part of the video. Okay, so as we've got no trains running this week, I thought I'd at least show you some of the purchases that I've made over the last couple of months or so. So the first of these is my Farish Jubilee, that's 45699 Galatea. So really nice model, and got this pre-owned, but yeah, really good runner for the limited time it's had on track. Also bought a couple of Mark 1s, so the first of these to complement my 7 or rake of 7 Mark 1s. I got this buffet coach, and then this was most recent purchase. I've got this Mark 1 GUV. So yeah, a couple of nice purchases there. Then just swinging back, some rolling stock. So this just came in the post the last couple of days. So this is my Pickford's Conflat, and that nicely complements my road vehicles that I've got for Pickford's, which I'll show in a second, which I've just recently bought as well. Then I've got these Pico grain wagons. So these are what I've seen on photographs that were used on the Settle and Carlisle line, and then these are also all sort of Pico wagons. Tending to go now for the Pico rolling stock because it's sort of half the price of the Farish. Maybe not quite as good quality. It's not as good quality, but when you're trying to put together some quite long rakes of wagons, when they're half the price, then it makes more sense to do that, in my opinion. But so I got 8 of those. Brake van we already had. So as I said, the Pickford's Conflat complements the road vehicles that I've got. So just recently bought both of these vehicles. So you've got the flatbed trailer. So this one is made by BT Models, and that's the box details. So it's a Coma low loader Pickford's. So yeah, that's a nice model. And then you've got the Pickford's van on the back. I just like the colouring of these with the blue and the red wheels. And then this was a Oxford die-cast model. I think it was the first model I actually picked up. So hence why I went for sort of slightly out of my era with the brown bauxite. It's obviously a private van, but thought it would go well, and yeah. Okay, just thought it'd be nice to share these 2 models with you. These are prototypes that have come from, you guessed it, Replitek. And the first is a Scania Fabis, I think it is. And I just happened to mention to Nigel it'd be nice to have a wagon, a flatbed wagon, to transport the milk churns from the dairy. And yeah, he's come up trumps with this one. So this is, I believe, going to be going on the eBay site very soon. And I'm going to paint this up in a nice red, like the photograph that you see on the screen. And yeah, that should look great when it's all painted up. It's just currently been primed by myself. And then the second model is the Bristol Buzz. That's a Bristol LL15, I believe. And Nigel's painted one of these as a prototype, which will pop up on the screen now. And I'm going to have a go at painting this as well. Might try a different colour to the one that Nigel's done, maybe to match sort of the Westmorland area. But again, a couple of nice models, and yeah, looking forward to painting those. And if you fancy any of those models or any others that Replitek do on their eBay site, just yeah, pop along and search Replitek. Okay, so you've seen the part of the video on the track laying, so I just wanted to share with you what is the sort of next phase for myself, and that was to lay out all of the sort of planned spots for the buildings, and also the rolling stock on the layout to make sure it all fits within the lengths of sidings, loops, and the station platform lengths, which I'm pleased to report it pretty much does tick all of the boxes. So as you can see, we've got both good loops filled, and the passenger trains at the sides of what will be the platform. So that all went to plan. And then we've got the mock-up with this fortuitously sized box, which is bang on the plan area of the proposed scratch-built engine shed. So I think that looks quite big. It doesn't look too overpowering for the area. And then we've got the turntable in place, which I've sort of marked that up where it will go to avoid the baseboard supports underneath. So, and then this has taken a massive amount of excavation, as you can see, to get the coaling stage in. So I'm happy with that now. Probably a bit disappointed how high I've had to go back, cut back, because it doesn't leave much room here for the farm track. I may even look to move this wall back, but I don't really want to. But you can see that in place, and there you can see sort of the incline that will go up to the coaling stage. That's quite steep. So we've got roughly a 30, as you can tell from the ruler, about a 30 centimetre climb, and it climbs about a couple of centimetres. So quite a steep incline, but as the train will probably be only a compromise of a few coal wagons, I don't think that will be an issue, but we'll have to test that out. What else? Yeah, moving down to the goods yard. So quite happy with how that's turned out. And then on the station, these will be the bays, the disused bays. So in the real world, so to speak, these were in the 60s, I believe, cut off from the main lines, and then these were left to overgrow basically, and that goes for both ends. As you can see, they're far shorter than what they were in say in the real world. These will probably hold 1, 2 at most coaches, when in the real world they'll probably hold 4 and or 3, 4 and a loco. But I just haven't got the room to do that, but I wanted to include them as they form a major sort of landmark on the Hellifield station. So what do you guys think? I think they should look good, as I said, cut off and then overgrown in the bay, pretty much as per the photograph that you see up on the screen now. So yeah, that's about it really. So that's the mock-up. So next stage is to carry on with the track laying in the engine shed, or the loco yard, after I've cut the hole in for the turntable and the ash pit. Okay, so we'll leave that part of the video there. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it's hard to get probably excited about track laying, but yeah, that's what I've been doing this last month, so that's why it was in the update. So yeah, hopefully in the next video we may have some test trains running around the track with a bit of luck. So I'm going to clock off, and yeah, all keep safe and well, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.